Level up your success with the ICABA World Network, where accomplished Black professionals and entrepreneurs have created a thriving global ecosystem built from valuable connections and impactful collaborations. Be a part of a trusted network that uplifts, inspires, and enhances your success. Join like-minded and leading Black professionals to foster meaningful relationships, unlock opportunities, and access the resources you need to thrive in your career, business, and life. Go to ICABAWorldNetwork.com and join today.
All right, so welcome everyone to the October 18th edition of Black Professionals Month. We're so glad that you are joining us today. I am Jerome Hutchison Jr., the co-founder of Black Professionals Month and the founder and chief servant officer for the ICABA World Network. And we are here today to celebrate Black professional excellence and to step up, stand out, and break through in the higher roles of leadership as we convene and gather and bring ourselves together to build a trusted online community for Black professionals so that we can reach higher roles of leadership and generate sustained wealth. And we are so excited today. One of the things that stands in everybody's way to achieving our aspirations and reaching our goals and objectives, and that is the obstacle that life has a way of putting in your path as you are along your journey. But today, we're going to hear from somebody who is uniquely, and I really stress that word, uniquely qualified to talk about how you can overcome those obstacles by turning those obstacles into success. And so today I'm introducing our speaker a little bit different. And I'm actually using a page, if you will, from his website, which I'm now going to. And as you can see by the homepage, it says that his life is a living testament of turning obstacles into opportunities. From childhood abandonment to becoming a Hall of Famer in athletics and business, he lives the principles that he's going to share with us today to inspire and coach you to higher performance and success. And so I'm going to scroll down the page of his homepage of his website to get to the introductory video that I want to play. And I think you'll understand why I say he is uniquely qualified for this particular presentation today. Just hope this screen sharing light doesn't turn orange again on me.
Well, from the inner city to a big city, in honor of the last day of Black History Month, we're introducing you to a Tampa entrepreneur who began with very little, but has built an empire of his own right here in the Bay Area. His life story is not only uplifting, but also quite inspiring. Walking into the offices of George Tinsley Sr., you might be distracted by the awards and trophies this self-made millionaire has accumulated for more than 30 years as a restaurant owner. Each plaque and picture telling a different story of how he's turned tragedy into opportunity.
This is the first restaurant caught on fire.
But there's one story not on the wall. At just 7 months old, George was abandoned by his parents, left to be raised by the woman he would eventually call Mom. He grew up in a poor Black neighborhood filled with drugs and violence.
Outside of the house, the women and men in the neighborhood who grown-ups, they also counseled, and I mean, and you took the good from the pimps, you took the good from the prostitutes, you took the good from the gangbangers. You just kind of developed an instinct. At least I did develop an instinct what was right and what was wrong.
When George was 13, his adopted mother died. A life-altering event that could have easily destroyed his confidence. But around that same time, he met Gay Howell, a junior high teacher who reached out to George with a simple gesture, placing him in the audio-visual squad at school.
Made me the guy that went around and set up the projectors in the different classes as they were showing films and so forth. So, you know, that gave me something to really feel good about.
Once in high school, that self-assurance contributed to three things: his skills on the basketball court, academics, and the introduction of the young lady that he would end up dating in college and eventually marry. He would go on to start as a freshman at Kentucky Wesleyan and help win 3 NCAA Division II championships in 4 years. After a short stint with pro basketball, he began his career as a training instructor for KFC. Today, he owns and operates more than 60 restaurant franchises, mostly in Tampa, and this year celebrates a 20-year milestone of ownership of the TGI Fridays at Tampa International Airport.
Don't let any obstacles that you're feeling hold you back from being who you want to be and going where you want to go. And the challenge is to break through the barrier.
Clearly, that's what this family man, Bay Area businessman and civic leader, has done. And George also says he loves mentoring young people. In fact, he considers it his responsibility. He visits schools all year long in the Bay Area. He speaks at USF often, has a think tank made up of young people, and works closely with 100 Black Men of America, Inc. at Hillsborough Community College.
Okay, so now we are going to hear from the gentleman that you just was hearing about. And so now he's going to speak to us, and the next sound that you hear, the next voice that you hear will be none other than George Tinsley Sr., who I affectionately call Big Brother because that's what he is to me. All right, my big brother.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and video there, which is kind of dated, but it does tell a little bit of the history that was in my life, and how the obstacle to opportunity tagline comes about. Because like you, most of you, we all run into obstacles throughout our lives, and it's up to us to be able to change those into victories and be successful. So I first of all want to thank Jerome and the team for letting me be a part of the Black Professionals Month. I think this has been a wonderful event, and I'd like to also congratulate and thank the contributors who have been involved, and of course my contacts, hopefully, who have come over from my invite from LinkedIn. I appreciate you being involved. I'm going to center in on just one aspect of some of the obstacles that I've faced in my life. You saw the introduction, which leads up to our very first franchise that we got into, which was Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, prior to that, I'd actually worked for Kentucky Fried Chicken for 8 years. I had the opportunity to work 3 of those years with the Colonel and learned the business side, not necessarily the business side, but the operations side from the Colonel as he conducted his business back in that time era. So I thought I knew quite a bit about the chicken preparation business, but I went on to matriculate through the corporation and working in different areas such as operations down in Atlanta area, and then back to Louisville in the human resource area, then into the franchising area, working with the franchisees down in South Georgia and North Florida. So getting that well-rounded experience. And of course, Jesse Jackson had been working with a number of different organizations, opening up doors for minorities to get in business. And we had quite a few minority franchisees that got started within the KFC business in that particular brand. So my job was to work with the franchisees in the system as a whole, and also with several minority Black franchisees who had gotten into business in South Georgia and Atlanta in that area. So lo and behold, I got an opportunity myself to become a franchisee down in Florida. And I was the first Black franchisee in the area, but I opened a restaurant in Arbondale, Florida. That was our very first restaurant, which was 37 years ago. And that restaurant opened, and the first month, the business was so good that we actually had to close. Down for a day. Now, once again, there's a guy that had been through all of this training and all this experiences and thought that had it all under control. But this bit, we had customers coming from all over the place. So that was a tremendous kind of an opposite of what we're going through today, where we're having problems getting customers in, and I'm talking system wide. But that was my first obstacle there in trying to make sure that that business was successful. So, we stepped back and we figured out what we had done wrong as far as projections, as far as a number of different throughput initiatives. So, as I said, we got a great team around me. We were able to step back, figure it out, get that restaurant reopened, and moving on down the road. We, as a matter of fact, we were quite successful, and went on to build 2 other restaurants right behind that, one in Haines City and another one up an area called Baseball and Boardwalk, all right in the East Polk County area of Central Florida. So about 7 years into this, one morning I got this call that my restaurant was on fire. And of course, I thought somebody was playing a joke, and just hung the phone back up and laid down and went back to sleep. And this was like 5 o'clock in the morning. So phone rang again, and it said, basically the person that answered the call, was on the other end, said basically the same thing: your store is on fire. And I said, oh, well, I better get up and go check this out, because 2 people playing jokes, they're likely not to happen. So driving down the highway, I headed to the restaurant. I started to see, it was daybreak, and I started seeing all the smoke, and I heard the sirens and so forth. And as I got there was a crowd everywhere, and the restaurant was on fire. Flames were like 15 feet above the restaurant. And my head started hurting and throbbing and so forth. And like the world was coming to an end. We had been there, as I said, 7 years, and had the sales had been just great. And now all of a sudden, this restaurant's burned down. I had over 45 employees working there that were all of a sudden on the verge of being out of a job. And they were standing around, as well as a lot of other community people and so forth. So this was probably the greatest challenge that I had to face in my young professional life, given the different experiences that I had. So I stepped back once again and knew exactly what it took to build this restaurant, because I'd built it from the ground up, surmising what it was going to take to make it happen. Just standing there on this lot and watching the fire folks knocking down the building, what was left of it, and so forth. While standing there, I saw traffic was backed up all over the place, but I saw some lunch trucks that were lined up where they were headed into the city to deliver lunch. And so the thought came to me, well, this restaurant's going to be down for at least 60, 90 days of development, at least that amount of time. So I've got to figure out how to, one, keep my employees working and move some of them to the other 2 restaurants we had, as well as how we're going to make sure we didn't lose these customers and be able to go to them. These lunch trucks that I saw sparked an idea. And so I was, as soon as they got the lot cleared, made a call back to KFC headquarters and was able to seek out, get the approval to develop a truck. And we found one. We put warming cabinets in there. We put cash registers in there. We did everything that we needed to be able to sell chicken out of that truck in a approved way, given all the sanitation and other requirements that were out there. And what I would do is go and get chicken from the other 2 restaurants, and then come back into this trade area and be able to sell that chicken right there on that spot of where that burned down KFC was. But I took it a step further, and I followed those trucks, those lunch trucks, as to where they were going, and marked down the time they were getting there, and routes and so forth as we were developing everything. And so once we were able to get these routes squared away and figure out, get the truck working properly, and had a little horn on it, a little chicken that clucked and so forth, which thought was kind of cute. We would go to the other two restaurants, load up, come back, jump in, and go and beat these lunch trucks to the spots that they were going to. All fair. And we would sell chicken out of the van during the day, and then at the close of business in the evening, would come back to that burned down spot, which the sign was still standing, and the KFC sign, that is, which was not part of the building. And we would sit there, and customers would pull in the lot and buy what was left. We'd also had an opportunity to let them know that we were coming back and when we would be back. So and I was able to put those other employees, as I mentioned, to work. And I had one or two that actually rode with me. We did that about 6 days a week, and actually almost met pretty close to our daily sales that we had prior to the restaurant burning down. And the community picked up on this also, and what we were doing, and the initiatives that we were taking. And I think there was some warmth in their hearts, and that became a big PR movement there. And so we did this for about 2.5, 3 months of delivering, beating and selling, delivering chicken out of the other two restaurants as they went on and did their business. And so when we did get able to open our restaurant back up, because during this time, given some of the problems that we had prior to, because sales were good prior to, we had a chance to take a look at the design as we rebuilt to make sure that we had enough queue in the parking lot, in the drive-through, to have 8-car link versus a 6 that we actually started off with. Put more seats in the dining room, rearranged in the new development our queue as far as traffic going through, counter registers and so forth. And we even at that time added a buffet to that particular restaurant. So it was a great opportunity to be able to think back and look at some of the sales and throughput opportunities that stood in our way before these obstacles, and to be able to correct those. So net bottom line, when this was all said and done, we were able to get the restaurant back open, and we actually doubled the volume that we had been doing prior to. Now, in between there, as I said, there was a lot of opportunities to be able to clean up some of the issues that we had before, and to fix those and be ready to set ourselves for success in the next in this new store opening. Now, this was not a one-man show. This was a lot of good people on our staff and people in the community that were pitching in and helping out. And that 7-year period that we had been open prior to had been a good opportunity to get involved with the Chamber of Commerce and get involved with other functions within the trade area that this restaurant was in. And so therefore we had a lot of goodwill. We had a lot of innate marketing that was there, guerrilla marketing, what I called it at that particular time. So it really helped in getting things turned back around. So the net of the whole thing, it was a tremendous blow to our economy. It was a scary time for our employees. It was a scary time for us as owners. But as we looked at things and given the knowledge and experience that we had and had in the past, that we were able to put that to use to help develop and make this a win-win situation all the way around. And I can compare that to what's happening to us today. We're going through this pandemic. We're going through all of these issues that are driving sales away from our businesses, but we have to look at this and look at things in a positive manner, in that we got to take care of our employees. We got to set an environment where employees do want to come to work, don't want to leave us. They do want to come to work. They enjoy being in our environment. We've got to figure out what's happening as far as the distribution line, and making sure that we have products on hand, that we don't have to close down because we don't have products. We've got to figure out how to make people safe in the restaurant, both our customers and also our employees, in following all of the mandates and guidelines, and making it a positive. So not giving in to negativity, not grabbing on to we can't do, but we can do, and finding assistance and help and so forth to help keep us going as we get through this period, because things are not going to drastically get better. I think we're going to be dealing with this over a long period of time, and we have to prepare ourselves in a positive way to be able to deal with it, and look at the experiences that we are in our background, and figure out step by step how we'll change this new normal and make it work, such as the online ordering and so forth, being able to figure out how we get that into our system as it relates to our customer flow, because we got our regular customers coming in, we got the drive-throughs and so forth. And so my big point here, what I wanted to deliver to you, is that these obstacles that we're facing, they're tremendous opportunities for us to turn them into a positive, and continue to be successful in whatever we're doing, whether that's in the restaurant business, whether that's in the whatever business that is, to be able to figure out how we're going to be successful. And we can do it. You know, it's a can do. It's not a we can't do. We got to be positive, got to stay positive, and not let any negativity enter into the game. So my message to you is to stay positive, sit back, put your thinking cap on, tighten your belt, and let's figure out how to get through what we're going through today all across the board, whether you're in the restaurant business or you're in whatever business you might be in. You can do it. Let's just make it happen. So I wanted to leave with you as I end my presentation here, the 7 steps that we'll put up on the screen here. 7 steps that I mentioned here in turning obstacles into opportunities. And that is, be fully self-aware of who you are and your strengths and weaknesses. Be clear about your obstacles and your circumstances so you can apply them to the appropriate and the efforts to transform it into an opportunity. Be positive. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Believe in yourself. Have faith. Never quit. Surround yourself with others who can effectively guide and support you where needed, and to be open to change and embrace that growth. Constantly assess your progress and make adjustments as necessary, and be grateful. Even the challenges that we're facing will give us an opportunity for growth with those challenges, and build our character and set us for success moving forward. So at this point, Jerome, I'd like to open it up to Q&A.
All right. So we're there. So George, let me kind of kick us off a little bit here. And so one of the things that you talked about was making sure that you create an environment that everybody wants to be a part of. And one of the things that I'm aware of is, in the fast food business, having an employee around for probably 3, 4, 5 years is in itself probably a bit extraordinary. You've had employees for over 30 years in your restaurant that have, crossed that. Can you talk about what you all have done and the culture you've cultivated in particularly the KFC there and in Winter Haven, that has created that type of longevity?
Yeah, well, Jerome, yes, our employees are like family. They're extensions of the family, and that applies in all of our restaurants. We get to know our people. We get to know them extremely well. We make sure we honor them on their birthdays, any special occasions. We do things for their children. The employees that we have, we go the youngsters, that is, we go to their schools and we check on them. We encourage them to get good grades. We create a family environment. And so when challenges come along, like this pandemic that we're in, or like the restaurant burning down, they don't just leave and go somewhere else. If the business is coming back, they're there to be a part of it. We have in our restaurants second, third generation employees, and as you mentioned, we have two that have been with us 36 and 35 years in that particular KFC, and there's third generations in that particular restaurant. Employees go on to be doctors, lawyers, professional athletes, and so forth. So the history of the restaurant, of our family environment, spreads. People know that when their children are starting off their first job, they want them to come work for us to get that firm foundation to move forward. So that's some of the things we do, Jerome. Some of our employees have been with us 20 years plus. We actually buy them vehicles, and that's a part of a tradition that we have, as well as year in, every year we have a big Christmas party for all the employees and their spouses and so forth. And we like to thank them for loaning their wives and husbands and so forth to the business, and the demand of the dedication that they put forward.
So I guess it sounds like treating people well, and showing appreciation for them.
Yes.
And supporting them is one of the ways you overcome the obstacles in your path, because the people that are on your team are going to go that extra mile for you.
That's correct.
May I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Mr. Tinsley, when you had to pivot your restaurant in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, how did you come about developing your medical protocols? Was it some kind of policy down from KFC Central, or did you have to hire a separate medical consultant?
No, we actually, and most brands have their own in-house policies, guidelines that they implement down through the franchise system. So in this particular KFC, and in our PF Chang's and Payway and Starbucks and so forth, all have their particular guidelines that we actually brought in-house, and they actually have inspectors to come around to make sure that you're adhering to them. But we did it in a way that this is going to better our entire team. It's going to make us safe. It wasn't one of those mandates that we were shoving down everybody's throat. We made it part of a team effort. It starts at the top. I wore a mask. I did all the things, took my temperature, all the things that I was asking them to do when I entered the restaurant, and I still do today. So I've always felt that it starts at the top. If you believe, then you spread it to your management team, and they believe, and then it goes down to the hourly. So that was our approach. Anything local in that local municipality that we had to adopt, we also took that in. Also, we shut down our lobby for a minute. Then we were able to reopen it gradually, spacing people apart. We had the shields up, and of course, in our business, we deal with a lot of senior citizens, and trying to see a smile through that mask becomes a challenge. And so we had to do some role playing inside the restaurant, making it fun so that the employees would understand that that what the customer is having to deal with, that the customer can't see that smile, that the customer may not be able to hear what you're trying to articulate as far as the menu is concerned. So we had to break it down to very simple things to make sure that these young high school kids understood that the mask doesn't just go right here, it goes over your nose. And you're going to save yourself, you're going to save your grandparents, your parents, and so forth. So it worked out real well so far.
Okay, well, I think that we have come to the end of this particular session. And George, really appreciate you sharing your story and your background. I think is when you hear people talk about, the Horatio Alger, and pulling somebody up by their own bootstraps, you definitely fit. But the one thing I know and listen to you tell your story is that somebody also helped to put some bootstraps there for you, and as you were trying to get up, they were giving you a little boost to be able to do that. And along the way, whether it was the, getting that job in AV, and as a matter of fact, as you were telling it today, I thought about, how the person that used to do that when I was in school, and we always thought that they were some of the coolest people going because they got a chance to go around to all the different rooms and, go in and out and had freedom to walk the hallways and all that kind of stuff, So, interesting how things like that can have an impact on boosting your self-confidence.
You're exactly right, Jerome, and you know my story a little bit better than most, but that 7th grade school teacher named Miss Howell, she changed my life by giving me that opportunity. And my part was to make sure I came to school every day, got good grades, and did all the things I was supposed to do. And she would let me maintain that job, which built my self-esteem and got me started off the right time. And of course, our session was not long enough to be able to highlight some of these things. But my 6th grade teacher had told me, why don't you just quit school? And so my 7th grade teacher coming along and taking me and realizing this is a poor young man that not going to lunch and didn't have much and so forth. She took a liking to me and helped me, and that certainly got me started off on the right foot. So you're exactly correct. Takes a village.
Yeah, it does. And we appreciate you sharing your story today. And I think it's the true testament to it's not where you start in life, but it's where you end. It's
Right.
not what happens to you, it's your response to it. And those are the keys to overcoming obstacles and making your way on the opportunities that you set for me in my life, because you're much older than me.
A little bit.
Not that much. I'm just having a little fun here, but guys, I've been very fortunate to have people like him in my life. Although he did put some pressure on me when I was just launched Kentucky's first Black-owned television station. They did this big 2-page profile on me in the business paper in Louisville, and I opened up to read the article, and I see in big quotation marks, Jerome has nothing to do but be successful or get kicked out of the family. George Tinsley. So another obstacle to opportunity is putting pressure on people that that they know they got to live up to.
Well, I knew you could handle it. And I was going to be there to pick you up if you failed.
So guys, we appreciate you being here. We've got another, a little bit less than 2 weeks, Black Professionals Month left, and a lot of great stuff coming. There's over 20 events still there. So go to blackprofessionalsmonth.com and check out the schedule. And we've got a diversity, equity, inclusion conference coming up that's really going to be fantastic. You don't want to miss that. We got a matchmaker event coming up on the 26th of October. So if you're looking for opportunities to grow your business, or you're looking for maybe a new career opportunity, we're going to have both of those things available for you on that when ICABA and the Watts Foundation come together during Black Professionals Month to help you to find those career and business opportunities. So Connie, thank you for, as always, being the Zoom producer extraordinaire. And I'll let you go ahead and take us on out of here. And everybody, you guys have a blessed day.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you tomorrow.
Thanks.